Joco Community Radio.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581.
Attention all business owners and creative minds. Do you need a unique and personalized touch for your products? Look no further than Romika Laser Engraving and Custom Designs. I'm Ron Phillips, co-owner of Romika Designs. We offer custom laser engraving services for a variety of products, including promotional items and corporate or personal gifts. With state-of-the-art equipment and a team of skilled designers, we can engrave intricate designs on virtually any material. Whether it's a special message, a company logo, or a custom design, Romika Laser Engraving will help you make your mark. And the best part, our prices are affordable and our turnaround time is quick.
I couldn't be happier with the work Romika Laser Engraving did for me. The engraving on my product was precise and exactly what I wanted.
So don't wait any longer to add a personal touch to your products. Call Romika Laser Engraving and Custom Designs today at 817-400-4040 or visit our website at romikadesigns.com. We look forward to helping you make your mark.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395.
Hey travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1820. 855-325-1820. That's 855-325-1820.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395.
You're listening to Joco Community Radio.
Hello, Jobfather Nation.
Hello.
Hi, Jobfather Nation. Can you hear me, Foster?
I can hear you.
Good. Just making sure everything's working okay. We are so excited to have you here this Friday before the holidays. And we are excited to be part of Joco Community Radio. which is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network.
Ooh,
To listen or
365.
watch, simply go to your app store, iOS or Android, and download the Joco Community Radio app. You can listen to the whole lineup and more when you want, where you want, for free. Especially yours truly, the Jobfather. We are excited to be here this Friday. We've got a great show ahead for you. But before we get started and turn it over to Foster to introduce what our game plan is, plus any landings and job announcements, let's pray. Father God, we are so honored to be here to serve the job community in the Job Search Network. We just ask, Lord God, that you would open doors of opportunity for each of these job seekers. Help us not to miss anything that we are to learn, grow, and build fruit on during this time. And if you, Lord, let us guide us and let us honor you in how we handle this transition and this time. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Well, all right. So, Foster, what do we have going on today?
Well, guys, we're excited because we got DeeEllen Jennings with us. She visited with us at HR on Wednesday, and we had an awesome time. We had a bunch of people. We're talking about overall job search and stuff. DeeEllen is a coach, guys, and she gets into the nitty gritty with you guys about things. And she's having some technical difficulties right now, but she will pop up just a second here, and we'll be talking. But until then, guys, I want to share a couple of opportunities with you that I'm personally involved with. I
Me
need
too.
guys, and then Dana's going to do it. Of course, I'm going to go to you when I mention these things. But if you are in HR, if you're an HR generalist, send me your resume. Give me a call. Um, Simple as that. We got a couple of opportunities going on. There's a couple of people that I want to connect you with, and you know what? I want you guys to go. And Dana, I don't do this enough, and you fuss at me all the time, and then I forget. But I mean, Dana don't fuss at me all the time, you guys, but she should. But anyway, but I want you guys to go to www.search search the number 4 the letter UINC.com. Let me tell you again. Search search the number 4 and the letter UINC.com. You will find, guys, let me tell you what that is. You will find a number of jobs that are posted there, and these are what I like to call network jobs. Me and Dana network all over the place. We meet people, and people are like, "You guys know a whole bunch of people, and I'm looking to hire this," and and so we post those jobs there. But those jobs, you will rarely, sometimes you will rarely see a apply online position there. There would generally be people that you reach out to directly about those jobs, just like Dana does. Dana posts jobs if she's got something that she's got going on in her company. Dana's the one you need to talk to, so she posts her information out there. And so, guys, we have nothing against it. We're going to be talking about it today because DeeEllen's a coach, and I want to know DeeEllen's objective. I want to know her observations on a lot of things. But
Stop it.
you know what? Dana's got a doggy in there. My nephew is in there with.
I am so sorry, Jobfather Nation. I couldn't hit the mute fast enough.
Oh, that's funny. I love my Wriggles. Wrigley's his name. I call him Wriggles. And hey, Riggs. So this is what we're doing, guys, right now. And Dana, you got any hot jobs going on? You're muted. You're muted because you muted Riggs out, and now you're muted.
Now I'm muted. Oh my gosh, I have some exciting jobs. Thank you so much for asking. So
Cool.
at Beacon Oral Specialist, we are hiring a couple really important roles here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And if you are interested in joining a growing organization, we are focused on acquiring and integrating oral surgery practices into our parent company, and we run the oral surgery practices that we acquire. With that being said, we need a director of compliance, new
Oh,
role.
I just met one.
director-
Oh my goodness.
Oh, good. Okay, need to talk to you. And director of tax, new role. We have a senior financial analyst with background in revenue cycle management and strong data modeling experience, financial data modeling experience. And then we also have a contract to hire IT project coordinator. And we will have in Atlanta, it will be coming out and should be posted next week, a marketing assistant, and that one will probably be based in Atlanta. And we will probably have an office manager for one of our practices in California. More news to come on that as soon as we have our next show. Got a question for you, Foster. Should
Okay.
our job seeker community that love the Jobfather plan to tune in next Friday, or is that a holiday for being Thanksgiving weekend?
Ooh, that's a good. Let's see. Now, the holiday is actually on what day is it on?
Well, it's on Thursday, but typically people take off of work Thursday and Friday, and it's like an
I know.
extended long weekend.
Guys, I will get back with you online about that. I want to check with Tiffany, who is our boss. She is the owner of the radio station. So I want to talk with Tiffany about that, and we will figure that out real quick. Tiffany will stick her thumb up or thumbs down, and then that's what I will let you
Yeah.
guys know.
Yeah.
Because we may not be here next week. Next week
Yeah.
is Thanksgiving week, guys. Happy
Already.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
How is it Thanksgiving already? Oh my
Already.
gosh.
It's already. Hey, DeeEllen.
Good
Oh,
morning, everyone.
good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, all right, all right. That's what Matthew McConaughey says, right? I'm a
Foster,
UT
do we have
fan
any
anyway.
landings?
We do not.
No
We do
problem.
not have any landings, and that doesn't mean that none didn't happen. It just means Foster didn't find out about it. But you guys keep your foot on the gas. There are landings happening at South Lake Focus Group. We had three, and there are continue. If any of you people that landed are listening to the show, chime in the chat and say, "Hey, I landed, Foster. Don't forget about me." But let us know where you landed at and all that kind of stuff. So let's see who we got. I always want to give the thumbs up to our Mez. Mez is behind the scenes and she puts things into the chat, guys. Website addresses, all kind of stuff that we talk about. Mez
We
is
love
our
Mez.
hype lady. So Mez, we love you and we appreciate you. I see Jason Hopper's with us today. Jason, no landings, man. Okay. Okay. What about you? Well, you said no landings. I didn't know if that was for you or for me. But Jason's always with us. Jason Hopper, guys, connect with him on LinkedIn. He is with Jewish Family Services. Go to jfsdallas.org and you will see all about Jewish Family Services. And you don't have to be Jewish, guys, to get services from Jewish Family Services. They've been around for a long time and they're totally awesome. Uh, there's a lot of help in Dallas Fort Worth for jobs. And good morning, Jim Williams from Hearst. All right. All right. Good morning, sir. I like that last name, Jim. I just throw that in there. Okay. Rex, if you're out there, I didn't see you, but if you're out there, you were there with us the other day. If you're out there, we love our Rex Sowett. Guys, Rex Sowett is probably the number one, in my estimation, he's the number one resource in job search. This guy has got it figured out. He is a HR leader and has been for, I'm not going to say how many years because I don't want you guys to think me and Rex are dinosaurs. And Debbie's with us again. Of course, Debbie's with us. Good morning, Deb. Awesome. Guys, I want to thank all of you guys that came out to the Meet the Recruiter event. It was a really, really good one. That was last night. And we had a good time. We had about 85, 90 people out there. Dana, we really had a good time out there. We talked about all kind of openings. We answered all kind of questions. And that's what I like to do is answer job seekers' questions.
Absolutely.
DeeEllen and I did that on Wednesday. DeeEllen's real good about answering questions. She's in the trenches every single day. Not that Dana and I are not, but you know what? DeeEllen's probably smarter than Foster. So there you have it.
So
Jim,
funny, Foster. So
Jim,
funny.
You're,
morning, cuz that's right.
you're
That's
so
right.
funny.
I love it. All right. So, guys, Dana, did you have anything else? You know how I start rambling. Did you have anything else that you wanted to share with us?
Let me think. No, I think I really appreciate you asking. That was the main thing is we are growing at Beacon Oral Specialists. Our corporate office here in Dallas is growing, great environment and wonderful leadership. So reach out to me. I already had put my email in the chat before we started the show. Dana D. Gingerich at beaconoralspecialist.com. And I believe Mez already put it up in the chat, but if not,
She did,
I'm sure she will. That's right. And we are very grateful for Mez.
Guys, you guys can spell Dana Dana, and her last name is Ginger Ich. I
Impressive.
always like telling. Well, when I figured that out, I was so happy. I was proud of myself because I had something associated
You're like,
with it.
I can spell a tricky name. Woo!
So DeeEllen, hey DeeEllen Jennings, DeeEllen guys. DeeEllen's got a neat story. She is I'm gonna let DeeEllen tell her story, her background, because she switched and she became a coach because she was starting to do that at work, and she started to see things that she didn't particularly care for, and she wanted to make a difference, and she started her company in order to do that. So good morning, DeeEllen.
Good morning, Foster. Good morning, Dana. Thank you
Hi.
guys very much for having me this morning.
Oh, we're glad that you came to be with us. I've known DeeEllen for a long time, you guys. And DeeEllen and I were talking the other day, and guys, there is we're going to talk about a lot of stuff that's important, but I want to start off with telling everybody, guys, make sure that your LinkedIn profiles match what's on your resume. Now, LinkedIn is going to be more of an overview. It may not have so much of the detail that you are wanting to apply to a job posting that has detail in it. But if it's one thing that DeeEllen and I like to, and Dana too, because Dana and I talk about this all the time, we want you job seekers to be relevant. We have had wonderful, wonderful careers, guys. But when a company has a position open, they have a position, they're looking for a certain thing, they're looking for a certain software, they're looking for a certain methodology. Those are the things that they're looking for on your resume. We recruiters don't spend a whole lot of time looking at resumes anymore because we've got so much technology and so little time to do things. We want to see that you have that experience on your resume that we're looking for as quickly as possible. And so, DeeEllen, what are your thoughts on that? You're smarter than me.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit about my background for you guys that don't know me. I've worked in HR for over 25 years, primarily.
You said it, I didn't.
Primarily in talent acquisition and recruiting. And one thing I do want to mention, we will spend 10 seconds qualifying a resume for a screening. So it has to be correct. Once we qualify a resume for screening, then we will look at your LinkedIn profile. I've had candidates that get completely disqualified for a role if their LinkedIn profile is completely different than the resume they present, regardless to what the reason is, because it appears to be some sort of misrepresentation of yourself. So you want to be really careful with that. Make sure the employment sections match. One other thing that I want to mention in a resume is a lot of people don't understand the importance of having your complete dates that you've worked at each employer. And when I say complete dates, you can't just put the year. And a lot of people will do that. And it will be passed up by applicant tracking systems. And now this haunted AI that everyone is talking about, because it doesn't qualify the number of years experience that you have. So always put the month and the year from beginning to ending at each place of employment. And one more key thing that I'm going to mention on that, and then I'll move on. If you've moved into different positions at an employer, always notate the dates in each role. You want to show the
Yes.
progression at
Oh.
the place of employment,
Mm-hmm.
but you want to show the dates in each role. So I won't harp on that. I will say this, and I mentioned this on Wednesday. I offer free strategy consultations. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
open to review resumes. I got a few on Wednesday. I returned them back. So um, feel free to just reach out to me and I can give you some tips and ideas on to make sure that you're getting in front of recruiters, you're getting past applicant tracking systems. So I'm going to back up here a little bit. Because I've worked in talent acquisition my entire career in multiple industries
Yeah.
across multiple professions, with so many different hiring managers and the different personalities and the different management styles. Um, I know what they look for in candidates. And so, when in my last role in corporate America, it was a good position with a good organization. Um, I had just received a very good promotion into a leadership role, but I was still not really happy with what I was doing. So
Mm-hmm.
I resigned 6 months later because I found myself so passionate about helping individuals get a job and get
Yeah.
into seeing hiring managers. So I resigned to open up my career coaching firm a little over a year ago because that is where my true heart lies. That's where my true passion lies to make sure individuals get in the door. And there are certain things you need to do in your resume to attract attention. There's a lot of things you can do on your LinkedIn profile to come up in search results. And that's what was important to me and why I left corporate America to start my career coaching firm. I also ran a staffing agency for 10 years. So
I was about to say
this
that.
is
Yep.
all I've done. Recruiting, talent acquisition, this is all I've done for over 25 years. And I realize that I'm more passionate about helping individuals find a job.
Yep. I understand that. That's kind of the area that I am in out over here. So
Yeah.
y'all got to deal with me, and DeeEllen's a whole lot smarter than me. So you guys can deal with
I
DeeEllen's a whole
wouldn't go
lot
that
easier to
far.
deal with than me. So DeeEllen and Dana, guys, are you? I know we get a lot of submissions, especially if we have a remote job, we tend to get more submissions. We tend to get more people that apply for the job for remote than on site. Guys, understand that companies are starting to go back to on site. You're going to see a whole lot more on site opportunities. Not that remote ones are going to go away, because they won't. We're there. That's where we are right now. So, is there? Are you guys seeing that people are being relevant? Are they sharing? Uh, are they sharing their relevance to the job that you're posting, or is it still pretty much the same? Because guys, it got to a point one time that I had a project manager job, and I was very, very intricate on that job posting, and
Yeah.
I got 50 resumes and only two of them fit.
Yeah.
What are you
And
guys
that's,
seeing?
yeah, that's often it. Good job descriptions can help, but with the market the way it is, people are going to apply, and that's okay. But I would recommend for job seekers to make sure that they're applying to roles that they truly are at least a 60% or more.
Hmm.
Unless you are approaching that role from like a personal introduction, kind of a networking thing, they may
Uh-huh.
overlook some of that. But if you're blind applying, it's best to have your resume up to date to reflect the role and make sure that you're at least 60% of the qualifications.
Hmm.
Absolutely. I agree with you, Dana. A lot of times, people that have been out of work, they want to apply and they sometimes get bad advice that apply for everything and
Yes.
hope something stick. Don't ever do that because
Spray and pray.
especially at the same company, because here's how hiring managers, recruiters will view you as a serial applicant. not a
Yes.
qualified candidate.
Yes.
And then they will also think that you're not sure what you really want to do. So if
Yep.
you're applying for anything and hope something stick, then you're not going to be happy. Number one, if they start calling you for roles that you know you're not interested in, are roles that don't match your background, that are maybe not on the same level of an opportunity that you're looking for. So don't waste your time applying for anything and hope something stick.
Yeah.
I teach my clients how to take a job description, look at their resume, and create a job analysis and say, here's how I match this particular job. And then I also teach them how to pull in transferable skills. And
Ah,
so based on that job analysis, when when you're starting to create your questions that you're going to ask during the interview, then you want to make sure that your questions are tailored to that job. And you
yes.
want to also make sure that the questions you ask display your experience and how strong you are a match based on the qualifications for that role. So I always say, please don't Google questions to ask during an interview.
Yeah. Hey, I'm 100%. 100%. Most of my questions, and guys, believe it or not, I interviewed for a job 3 months ago, and
Yeah.
I wasn't really interested in taking. Dad told Dana I wasn't really interested in taking this job. I wanted to see what the job was all about, so I could share it with you guys. And I most of my questions came, and of course, you're going to have a couple of questions before the interview. That's fine, but most of my questions came in that conversation. I don't too much have interviews, Dana, anymore. I have a conversation. We're talking about something, let's talk. I have had those mechanical interviews before, and that is just not Foster. I try to get my interviewer comfortable with me. I try to get them into a conversation to where it doesn't look weird and it doesn't feel weird, and I'm out of space if I do have a question because of something that you said, because I'm going to ask you, I'm going to question you about your company. I will have checked you guys. I want you guys to, and Mez, put this in the chat if you will. Uh, Crunchbase.com. That is a wonderful website in order where you guys are, you're interested in a company, you want to see how that company is really doing. You might not want to just take the word of the VP as what he's saying. You might want to look Crunchbase, not CH, just Crunch. Thanks,
Yeah.
Mass.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Crunchbase.com, guys. And that is a website that shows information that companies have to share with the SEC. So they can't be lying. They can be saying, oh, my company's doing all this wonderful things, because Crunchbase will show exactly what's going on. It will even show information on stock and how the stock is performing and who's buying it, who's selling it. I mean, you can go through Crunchbase and oh my goodness. And so I wanted to share that with you guys because in today's world, guys, we need to see what we're getting ourselves into. We really do.
Yeah.
And that networking is important.
And can I piggyback off of that?
Yes.
When you're doing your research on a company, I recently released a book earlier this year, and it was kind of pulling back the curtain on interviewing, all
I
the
like it.
missteps that candidates make during the interview process. And
Hmm.
one of the things that I really drive home is research on an organization. So you can also find, if it's a publicly traded company, usually you can find their financial statements on their website. If you can't, it will be on Crunchbase. But
Hmm.
one of the things to keep in mind is that for the past, year or two, there's been a lot of layoffs. There's been a lot of
Those.
restructuring. There's been a lot of mergers. So
Yeah.
this is really vital information to know when you're making a decision about your next move.
It's
Because
so true.
if the company is still in the midst of restructuring, I've seen organizations hire people from a position that they're in, and during this restructuring, they've had to let that person go as they
Hmm.
finalize their organization. So you want to see what's going on. When did the restructuring start? When did the layoffs happen? Things like that are important when you're making a decision. So keep that in mind.
So true. Oh my goodness. I really appreciate the value and wisdom you're bringing to today's call because it is so true.
Yeah.
I think the more that candidates know going into the job search, the more empowered they are to use the tools in their tool belts. And we're here to give them the tools. And the tools that you're speaking about today are just phenomenal. And they're right on. And the fact that you've owned your own business around talent acquisition, your own agency, really gives you an in-depth insight to what you see, trends you see as candidates are coming through. And if I were to ask you, what top qualities for those candidates that, once you've been recruiting a while and you talk to a deck of candidates, you can almost guess which one's going to get the job or which two are going to be the top two? What would you say?
Oh, we'll be coming back. I hear music. We'll come back. Dana, fire that question up when we come back from commercial.
Will do. Talk to you in a second.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more.
800-240-4587. 800-240-4587. 800-240-4587. That's 800-240-4587.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
Joco Community Radio. Listen live at tunein.com.
You guys see Dana's personality? There it is right there.
Oh, welcome back, Jobfather Nation, to the second half of the Jobfather. We are excited to be a part of Joco Community Radio. And Joco Community Radio is the proud voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network. To listen or watch, simply go to your app store, download Joco Community Radio, and it's free. So you can listen to the whole lineup and more, especially Jobfather, your favorite. We look forward to the second half of the show. So, Foster, I'll kick off real quick with my question. It got a little long-winded.
I want to ask everybody, guys, go to YouTube, not YouTube, yeah, there too, but guys, go to LinkedIn, find Joco, dial it up, Joco Community Radio, and I want you guys to follow us. This is a wonderful radio station, and it serves the community in all over the place, and there's a lot of connections. You guys will be surprised how many people listen to this show, and we want to thank you, Tiffany, for even having us on here on the Job Father. And it wouldn't be a Job Father without my buddy Dana right there. So, Dana, you kick it off. I just wanted to throw that out there.
No, that's great. Well, basically, before the show ended, we were talking about extensive experience in recruitment, and those of us on the panel today that there are trends we see when we work on any given job. We have a handful of candidates. We're screening candidates. Usually, an experienced recruiter, once they know their hiring leader, for the most part, can almost kind of get a gut instinct as to which candidate they think that individual, one or two candidates that they think that they'll pick. And what I thought would be good is for us to each share a few traits or qualities that we see in these candidates that set them apart. And I can go real quick and give my example, and then I figured we could roundtable.
Oh, yeah, this is good. Okay. Yeah, this is good. Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing I see is when a candidate is confident, they're clear, they don't talk too fast or too long, and they're truly able to relate to you, in a friendly, professional way, and they're able to give direct answers and not go on and on and on or beat around the bush to make it sound like they have that experience, even though they don't. Beating around the bush can turn someone off, right?
Absolutely.
And we are limited in our time. For those people that are handling multiple roles at once, we don't have time for a 20-minute dissertation around one skill set. We need a candid response to the question we're asking. And I believe when I found myself unexpectedly in the market, I believe I overspoke on one of my interviews out of excitement, but I overspoke instead of giving direct responses back and being a little bit more concise. So those that have positive energy, that good attitude, positive energy, and can give concise answers directly to what's being asked and truthfully what's being asked are going to go further than those that beat around the bush to make it sound like they can get the job. There's my response.
That's the truth. And my response is gonna piggyback off what Dana just said. Job seekers, let me tell you what y'all do. I have interviewed, guys, I've interviewed more people than the population of some towns. So yeah, I've been at it a little while. Gene Clay, we won't tell him how long I've been at it, brother. But there's one thing that I noticed, and this is a people thing. So guys, keep it in mind. When you are talking about something that you absolutely know about and you're excited about, it is easy to see on your face, like Dana said, but eye contact is very, very good when we're talking about something that you have had an experience with. Now, I'm going to tell you what y'all do. When you do what Dana was talking about, trying to tell us something you think we want to hear,
eye
you're
contact.
looking all over. There's that eye. Is that your left eye? Is your right eye?
That was my left eye. Good call.
Did I see a cataract? No, I'm kidding.
Oh, okay. All right.
Me and Dana are brother and sister. We throw jokes at each other.
Yeah,
but guys, here's what
from
we
another
do.
Mother.
Here's what we do. We will look all over the place because we're trying to think about what you think we want to say to impress you. No. Foster has interviewed too many people, and I learned as I went. Guys, be your authentic self. If you have the experience, we will be able to tell by the way that you. What my dad used to tell a church. My dad was a pastor. You will know them from their countenance. Now, your countenance is your face. And when you start looking all over the place, I even stopped a lady one time. I said, stop. Tell me what your experience has been, not what you think I want to hear. And she was like, oh, I'm so glad that you made it so much easier for me. She said, I've never had an interview like that. So, guys, if you are networking and I hear you saying something and you're looking all over the place, Foster might say, stop it. Okay, DeeEllen.
You're going to give people anxiety. Stop it.
All right. So I'm sure you all have heard people hire people they like. And sometimes managers think they can figure that out during the first interview, and they cannot. So that one of the things that I used to do with my team, I would come out, I'd interview a person, or someone on my team would interview a person, and I could always say, they're going to get hired. And here's how I know they're going to get hired. Because, like Dana said earlier, if they could answer the question directly, completely, and stop talking, that's really good. We don't want to hear the backstory. The managers don't want to hear the backstory.
That takes
And when
time.
a candidate says, let me give you some backstory, that's the end of it. And when managers don't get through their preset questions for the interview, you're not coming back.
Nope.
You will
I've
not
made
get
that
that
mistake.
second
That's true.
interview. And so that's a sign. Here are some key things that will make you stand out. And this is what's really important to me to get through to my clients, to go in and make sure that you know a lot about the company, not just what's on their website, any recent awards they've received, any recent media recognition, or if they've been in the news. The company want to know that you're really interested in their organization and not just a job. You want to
That's
be a
right.
part of that organization. The second thing is to understand the role. I know finding a job is like having a job. Everyone goes through the same thing, but you really need to be tuned into the position that you've applied for. A lot of times people are applying for so many jobs, really need to get back to work.
Yeah.
But before that interview, understand the role, because you have to talk to the recruiter, HR department, and the hiring manager to let them know you really understand that role, because you need to tell them how your background is a fit for that role. So when a candidate is sitting in front of me and they convince me that they know that their background is a good fit for that role, and they've done some research on the company and they are excited about the organization, I'm sold. And I'll talk to the manager. You're going to love this candidate, and here's why. Because as a recruiter in talent acquisition and from the HR department, we have to convince the hiring manager to see you. And
Amen.
so when we go to the hiring manager, we give them a screening of why we think you are worth talking to, why it's worth their time to bring you in. And so, yes, you need to be friendly, you need to be professional. Please don't overshare. Keep your answers concise and direct. And that's what wins with me.
Yes.
That's what's going to win with most people.
Yeah.
Guys, and Jason, thank you for that question, man. That's a really good question. Some people are not comfortable. And did you see Jason's question on there, Dana? Some people are not comfortable looking at people in their eyes when they're talking. But guys, you know what?
Have
You can
to.
tell that from the beginning. A observant
Yeah.
interviewer will be able to tell that there's something going on here. And everybody, we do understand that everybody's not comfortable, especially in an interview. Oh my God, I'm nervous. I'm interviewing for this position. So, guys, you will know them from their countenance. That is in the Bible. Guys, you will know them from that countenance. They will be displaying that countenance the minute they walk in the room to sit down and talk to you. When you're sharing stories about where you have been, I applied for this job because I've been here and I've gone through this. You will tell that regardless of what you're doing. You will be very clear. Just like DeeEllen said, you'll be very clear about it because you have had that experience and you want that hiring manager to know, listen, dude, you're not the only one that's been in that boat. I've been there and I sailed around the world on that boat. And let me tell you what is relevant to what you're telling me. These are maybe a couple of the ideas. And this is another reason that I have a conversation rather than a structured mechanical interview. I want to talk about what's going on because I'm passionate about this thing. And when we're passionate about something, guys, you hiring managers, you recruiters will be able to tell that that person's being genuine. It's not hard to that's not a hard one, y'all. Sorry. It's just not. Maybe I've been recruiting for too long, but that's not a hard one.
Yeah, that makes sense. 100%. You know, I made this mistake and I want to be transparent. When I found myself on the market
Uh-huh.
unexpectedly in the very beginning, I was at an emotional place where I was so sad and so upset and felt defeated that I was performing at such a high level. And because the industry wasn't doing well, the company wasn't doing well, no fault of my own, I experienced a layoff. And regardless of if it is or isn't something you may or may not done,
Uh-huh.
it's very defeating sometimes. And so I found myself starting to go into interviews, and I know you never want to have a chip or be down when you're in an interview. You need to be your best version of yourself and you need to be your authentic self, as we've already discussed. Well, I could sense I had to really push to be the best version of myself. And here I coach people on interviews. I public speak on interviewing. I interview for a living, people for a living. And I remember going into some of my interviews just feeling like I really needed this job and I wasn't my authentic self. I overspoke. I wanted to prove how qualified I was, and it wasn't a matter
Uh-huh.
of beating around the bush. I was too eager to prove how qualified I was.
I got you.
And I overspoke. Just gave them way too much information, which comes across as not listening because you're just talking, talking, talking versus concisely responding to the question, giving them the information they need to show that you have that experience and maybe adding just a little extra there. Nope, I went on and on. And I think that cost me a job, a potential, position or two in the beginning. I just went on and on and
Hmm.
on to explain all my experience instead of letting the recruiter really guide that conversation because I thought I knew what they wanted to know. So I was just going to go ahead and spit it all out. So that's what we're talking about, regardless of who you are and what your experience is. Not allowing your situation to emotionally affect the way you think and communicate during
Okay.
the interview. You almost have to just separate yourself, go into the interview prepared, ready to talk. I had some cheat notes I finally typed up for myself. I would put it on my screen because all they can see is the camera, right? We're not sharing screens. And I'd have my cheat notes right in front of me so that if I would get a little nervous, which normally I'm not, but sometimes I got nervous, I had, my core things that I've achieved, my core sets of experience, the industries and some of the metrics and things I've worked through and
Uh-huh.
accomplished so that I could just have it right in front of me and you couldn't even tell I was reading or using it as a backup crutch. And that really helped me. And the more I kind of went on and said, okay, I'm giving this to God, and I got much more positive, and I just couldn't overthink it. I just had to live in the day, live in the moment, and trust God. My interviews started getting better and better, but I
Oh.
was I was working to be more concise, and I was working to not overspeak. And those things, just this last week, we hired an HR business partner. We had two finalists. Both were equally qualified and great, but one overspoke and spoke over both of the people interviewing and the other didn't, and the other did a much better job of being
Uh,
concise. And they were both great candidates. It could have been either one of their jobs, but because the one person interviewed better, we went with that person. In the past, when the market's tighter, those things don't matter as much. When there's not enough candidates and too many jobs, you can kind of get away with it. But right now, there's a lot more people than there are for every given role.
mhm.
So you've got to play your cards right.
You just brought up a question I have for you and DeeEllen. So, are you guys now post COVID? COVID interfered with a whole lot of stuff. The way companies handle employees, the way employees handle all that stuff.
Hmm.
COVID was a mess. So, are you guys seeing that gaps are not as negative a thing as they used to be on a resume or in people? What do y'all think?
Yeah, I don't think it's as much on our end. It depends on the situation, you know.
I don't see it either, but I'm not in the corporate setting
Okay.
anymore. I'm working on the other side. So I talk to candidates about how to overcome and explain that. A lot of companies are aware that there's been a lot of layoffs, but I
Yeah.
will say this too. I think a lot of companies are still hiring people first that are working as opposed to those that are unemployed. And it's really heartbreaking that that's happening,
Yeah.
but it's true.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's true. I want to go back to something Dana was saying earlier. When you're in with a recruiter, whether it's at an agency or at a major corporation, I know where you're taught to build a relationship, to click with the person that you're talking to. And like I said earlier, people hire people they like.
Yes.
One of the things I talk about in my book is about oversharing. And
Mm,
sometimes people do overshare and get extremely personal in that conversation if they feel
Ah.
like they've really clicked with the recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they leave, for example, when I was running my agency, a candidate would go in to interview, perfect fit, excellent background, skills, and qualifications. Really thought this person would get hired for the job. But they got in and they just overshared about a lot of personal things in their life. So during the debrief, the candidate is like, oh, I think I'm really going to get called back. I think I'm really going to get this job. We really clicked. I was there for an hour and a half. And then when I hear from the client would be, she had a really good background, but, and she went into talking about all the personal things that the person discussed during the interview. So, one thing that I want to share is that recruiters in an agency and recruiters in an organization is loyal to the client or the company. They have to be. And so, while you may connect with them, they still have to be completely transparent with their client and with their organization about the candidate. And
Yeah.
so
yes.
when they provide feedback to the hiring manager, more than not, 99.9% of what was said in that interview is going to be shared with the hiring manager. So just be careful with how much you share during your interviews.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Jim Williams brought up a good point a while ago. Jim said that there's a recruiter that kept giving him a resume. He didn't like the resume. He didn't like the way it looks, but the recruiter insisted that Jim, I just want you to talk to this person. And Jim talked to the person. And Jim's like, "Oh my goodness, I see why the recruiter was insistent that I talk to this person." Now, guys, that only happens a lot of times. Well, only, yeah, pretty much only happens because there is a Dana. What's our word?
Relationship.
That's what I'm talking about, guys. Is and that's why we network. We want to build relationships out there. We want people to know us as what we are. Because in a situation like that, Jim, and I appreciate you sharing that. When we have a relationship, and Dana and I have had those kind of relationships before with the people that we're serving. You hiring managers are not easy. So we're trying to build a relationship with you guys so you can trust us. Not that you're going to say, oh, whoever Dana says I need to hire, I'm going to hire. No, 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 no. But listen, we meet with you guys. Dana is a corporate recruiter. I have been a corporate recruiter. We have access to the hiring managers. When there is a new job, I'm going down that hiring manager's office. I'm going to say, dude, lady, tell me what you want to hire. Don't get me. Hey,
Dude, lady.
I've got. Well, you ladies are hiring managers. Go
I
ahead.
know. It's like, dude, wait, lady.
Dude, lady, I got to get everybody in there.
I
Hey,
know.
we tell me what you want to hire because intangibles, we're talking about it right now. Intangibles are very important. We do not hire people we don't like. We do not hire people that we don't connect with. There has to be a connection somewhere. If I'm bringing somebody into I had 93 recruiters at Verizon. Oh, listen, I'm not going to bring somebody in there that's going to upset the apple cart and turn everything over. They may be the smartest person in the world, but oh my God, can I get along with them? You know, and this is important, guys. And another thing, I promised DeeEllen that I was going to bring this up, guys. When you are networking, I got to do this for Judy. This is Judy Wardle's
I love Judy.
sign for networking. They're right there. And
Go
everybody
Judy.
loves Judy, guys. Connect with Jude Wardle, Wardle. She is one of the top networkers that you will ever meet, especially if you are in healthcare. And so connect with and tell her Foster and Dana talking about you on that radio show. She is just awesome. But guys, one thing I do not do, and I frown on, and I'm gonna give you a quick story as to why I frown on this. I do not play connected dots on LinkedIn. If I do not know, now this is Foster, I do not know a certain person, uh, I'm not gonna, and especially if I just met you and I don't know you, I'm not gonna introduce you to somebody I don't know. My name is involved with it. I gotta, at the very least, I gotta get to know you. And here's why, guys. Night before, no, it was yesterday. There's a friend that I helped get a job as a hiring manager, as a VP of the company, and he got excited about a person that came through the South Lake Focus Group. I'm not gonna say who. I'm not gonna bust you out like that, but this person had the job, and they looked and they saw that this person endorsed very heavily someone that the hiring manager knew. The hiring manager called a friend and says, "Hey, how do you know this guy? What you talking about? I don't know this guy. But I have no. I think I'm connected with him, but I don't know him." And he, being the type of person that he is, and the type of company, I love this company, did not hire that guy. He says, I do not want to have people in here that fabricate things. There are people out there that are like that, guys. So you've heard before people say honesty is the best policy. Well, what you think about that? Honestly, guys, I am not going through, oh, I got to get as many connections as I can get on LinkedIn, but those are not relationships. So anyway, I just wanted to say that, and I'm gonna ride that one until I can't ride it no more. You guys be honest about what you're doing. God, I
Can I
am
just
pissed.
offer one more tip?
Yes.
One more thing. Well, just a recommendation for everyone. If you don't have any current recommendations on LinkedIn,
Uh,
please
Get 'em.
get some updated recommendations on
mhm.
your employment history. Shoot me an email. I have a really good template that you can use to send out to start requesting some recommendations. That'll be really good.
Ooh, love
And
it.
if you email me, I have a lot of different freebies I can throw your way to help you in your job search. So I didn't want to just feel like I'm just coming across and slamming it with all the negative news. I hope that I've been helpful today, but I do want to send you this template to start getting some recommendations that you could put on your LinkedIn profile.
I love it.
Uh-huh.
You've been helpful. Foster's the one that beats people over the head. And by the
I
way, if
do.
you
I
have
have gotten it where
$100,
I'm so
you
sick of a lot of
just
mistakes that
no,
I see.
for $100, you can email Foster and he'll give you a reference. No, I'm just kidding.
And that's funny because there's some of that's going on, guys. There are now. I hope this person's not listening to me because it's a good friend of mine, but some people suggest I want to get recommendations on LinkedIn. Write your own recommendation that you want that person to say and send it to them to make it easy for them, and have them approve it and have them post what you wrote about yourself. Look at my face.
Okay, and Foster,
Come
I'm
on,
just
son.
kidding. Listen, if
I know
Foster's
you
giving
are.
you a spanking, it's because he loves you.
That's right. Hey guys, there's a lot of reasons why we do not get
Yeah,
hired,
we yeah,
and we need to know what that is.
we need to be
Because when
transparent.
we
Yeah.
don't have a job, guys, we have a lot of stress on us. We go
Mhm.
home and the wife's like, "Dude, you got a job? You ain't got no job yet. I saw something I need to buy this." No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But
What do we
but you know
call that?
what?
We call it a
Desperation.
no, we call it a throat punch over the radio waves.
Yeah, I'm punching y'all in the throat,
That's right.
guys.
Sometimes we
Be
got to do it. I had to get my throat punched sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to punch her throat sometimes.
Yeah.
But guys, we
Pew
need
pew
to
pew
be
pew.
straight up and down about what we're doing,
Yeah.
because you will be surprised what will come out. Who would have ever thought that the hiring manager even had time to be that intricate
Yeah.
about who he was hiring? But you know
I
what?
know.
When I was hiring recruiters at the many companies that I worked at, and I worked these monstrosities, I was very, very networky, particular, picky-unish about who I hired. I really was.
You were picky-unish.
I was picky-unish.
Well, I know leaders are picky-ish right now because there's a lot more candidates, but I still want to, Foster and our whole team here today, we want to encourage you. There's still a lot of positions. There's
Lots.
still a lot of opportunity. You will land the right job. You will land the
Keep
right
your foot
job.
on the gas. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy
We will see you guys
Thanksgiving.
next
Happy
week.
Thanksgiving.
Dana won't sing next week. No, well, she might. I don't know. But
Why have thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book? Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process.